Saints are just a few days away from their first preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and already some Hoodats are in a tizzy because of reports the offense is struggling. Should we be worried on August the 13th? Also, what can we read from the release of the initial depth chart? And already an old, aching veteran is on the shelf for a bit. On the college front, Jayden Daniels is pissed off. He's pissed off at LSU. What's going on? Why? Tulane is showing off their City Edition unis. What do we think? We'll get to all your comments and questions, and Zach Ewing is here. And speaking of Zach, we'll all make our NFC and AFC West picks this morning, even UBN. So let's get rolling. It's time for the Dattitude podcast.
Ready to hear the straight scoop on local and national sports? It's time for Jim Derry's take on the Saints, LSU, what betting lines to ponder, and more. He's got opinions, he's got insight, and he's got Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
What is up this morning, Dattitude family? There's Panic at the Disco, but not on Dattitude. Episode number 531, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Thursday, August the 13th, 2026. We have got I don't remember the last time I've had this much that I want to get to today. I told Zach to come on about 9:30 instead of his usual 9:20. I don't know how I'm going to get to it all. We're going to figure it out. I've got so much crammed into this opening monologue here. And if you're wondering, who's cramming all this stuff into a monologue? That's me. My name is Jim Derry, 36 years on the New Orleans sports media scene. I thank you so much for spending part of your Thursday morning. Are you getting excited about the Saints' first preseason game? I mean, normally, I guess, I don't know. I have mixed emotions. I definitely don't get as excited as I used to get about it, but we'll get there. We're going to talk about that. Saints odds have changed. If you were paying attention on Monday to the odds and the numbers that were on the bottom right of your screen, if you could see the screen, some of you are listening to audio-only podcasts, but on Monday, the Saints were a slight underdog. The money line has changed significantly, actually. The Jags were a slight favorite. Now they're at plus 120 on the dog list, and the Saints are minus one. What is that? I got something over that corner of the screen on my screen, but minus 142. Wow. So it's quite a difference from Monday. So I don't know. You degenerates out there that are actually betting on preseason games, stop it. I mean, I actually can. Yeah, exactly. Call the number. If you're betting on preseason, UBN, call the number. We will get to that in just a minute. Got a couple announcements here this morning. I wanted to give a shout out. I'm sorry I don't have the picture that Kyle sent me, but Kyle Sherman asked for a shout out. Here it is, right to start the show. He's not going to be able to spend the whole morning with us because his daughter Courtney is getting married. He's spending time with her and getting that role. That's going to be an exciting weekend for you, for Kyle and the Sherman family. He says when she was 9, she came to me with the Falcons game. She came to him to the Falcons game. Man, okay, so I don't know if she'd be happy of you giving her age here on the show, Kyle. Just saying. We're thrilled for Courtney and to the Sherman family, but you're shouting out your daughter's age here on she was 9. She came to the Falcons game. She's caught every minute of every Saints game since. A massive fan. Kyle says his black tuxedo has a gold inner lining with a fleur-de-lis pattern, and they're doing a second line reception. That is naturally knowledge, y'all. So congratulations to Courtney Sherman and to the Sherman family. We're excited. We're happy for you. Today is going to be a fun show, as I'm telling you. When I talk about jam-packed, we're going to be talking about Saints news. Is the offense really that far behind the defense? Has been talking about in the members-only chat Slack channel. Lots of talk about it, but it's not just there. I've seen it all over social media. People are Tyler Shuck's throwing picks. Oh, remember Tyler Shuck? He's not Drew Brees yet, remember? Okay. But it's only August the 13th. And as you could tell, I'm mocking a little bit because, yes, it's a little bit too early to panic. Now, if this is still happening on, I don't know, September the 7th, and we're about ready to go into the season, and he's still throwing a bunch of picks to the deep, yeah, then maybe I'll be worried a little bit. But we're a ways away. We're almost 4 weeks, maybe a little less than 4 weeks away from panic time. And it's weird as I talk about the game this weekend, getting ready for the Jags. You realize this is the last game, the first and last. It's the first preseason game. There's not another game in the Superdome until September the 27th. That's right. They play their last two games. If you didn't realize it, I mean, most of you do, but not everybody does. Not everybody thinks about the schedule coming up. They think about what's on their plate for this week. Last game in the Dome is September 27th. They play their final two preseason games on the road. They play their first two regular season games on the road. By the way, I'm telling you right now, I'm getting more and more excited about the Saints-Ravens game in week 2. Don't get me wrong. I want to beat the Lions. I hope the Saints beat the Lions. But there's a lot of Ravens fans saying, oh, that's an easy way. They're chalking it up, baby. You got to take offense to that, right? The Ravens fans are getting on Saints sites. I've seen this. They're chalking it up. They're chalking up the dub already. Maybe the Ravens, I got a feeling the Ravens are going to have I don't want to give any spoiler alerts because we're doing the AFC North next week. Today, AFC and NFC West is part of the show today. Zach will be on. Gabe UBN have their picks. But maybe, spoiler alert, maybe the Ravens aren't going to be as good as some people think. They got a new coach. How much are they going to miss Mr. Harbaugh? We'll see. We'll talk about that again next week. But today we got AFC, NFC West. That's on the show later on. Camp updates. What updates we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about the first official. I always find that funny this time of year. But the Saints first, air tags. First depth chart. How much does it mean? I mean, obviously, you're already getting where I'm going with this. But we're going to save it for Zach. We're not going to get into that. Already, Cam Jordan is injured. I mean, is anybody shocked that a 64-year-old man is playing football and is injured? I kid because I love. I mean, I already got banned on social media by Alvin Kamara, so why not Cam Jordan, right? I mean, how many people – I mean, I really need to strive for it. I need to work for it. If I can get banned by Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara, it means I'm really going places. Speaking of 64 – no, I'm not 64 yet. Getting there, though. Also, close your ears, Lance. Giving you a heads-up warning. Close your ears. Earmuffs. Lance, are you out there? Derek Carr has landed a job. He's going to be a coordinator, an offensive game coordinator. Good luck, UCLA Bruins. We'll see how that works out for you. Maybe we'll do a podcast on it. Who knows? What do y'all think? Derek Carr landing a job. I think y'all would rather Tyler Shuck throw 8 picks in a real game to even hear about Derek Carr again. So we won't spend too much time talking about that this morning. It's a good thing I got a lot of things to talk about. Also on the show, we'll probably bring it up with Zach a little later. Drew Brees, can't get enough of Drew Brees. He is going to be in the Saints Ring of Fame, Hall of Fame. Well, there is no more Hall of Fame. Somebody awoken me to that fact. The Ring of Fame in the Dome. Drew Brees, Week 5, October 11th versus Minnesota. Do you think it was just too much to try to do it on the Monday night game against Atlanta? You think they just didn't want to cram it all in like I'm trying to cram into the show today? Maybe that was it. So anyway, we'll talk more about that with Zach. That's all coming up later in the show. All those things I plan to get to. You know me. I promise to get to them, sort of, maybe get to them. But all those things coming up in the Saints portion of the show. Zach Ewing going to come on about 9:30. So the depth chart is what we're going to start with. I'm really, I take every early August depth chart. It was released on August the 10th, so it was released on Monday. It's so old already that Dylan Radins is the backup at left guard. So that goes to show you how important that is. But Cam Jordan injured. How important is that? Is it going to make that big of a difference? Is he going to be ready by week 1? What do we think? That's all coming up in a little bit. But I want to talk about, first of all, you know me. If I get a chance to talk about the weather, and I'm only going to do it briefly, only because I made a graphic for it. But I saw this the other day, and I thought kiss my ass, UBN. This was the thing I saw, and I know he's probably in there in the comments somewhere. I haven't got to the comments yet. I will very shortly. But I saw this heat wave watch. Zach Fradella of Fox 8. I'm going to Fox 8 today, by the way. Spoiler alert, news alert, whatever alert. Final bet. Jim Derry will be on with Garland Gillen. That's right. Might be the first time I've ever referred to myself in the third person, by the way. I hate that. I can't believe I just did it. But I will be on the air tonight on the final bet show with Garland Gillen at 10:35 on Fox 8. After Zach Fradella's, well, it'll probably be Bruce Katz. We'll see who is on tonight. But Zach Fradella posted this post. It's going to be 100 degrees. Not the heat index. It's going to be 100 degrees in New Orleans this weekend or in the New Orleans area. Dude, I'm about sick of this crapola. I hate the heat. In case you're new to the show, I know we just lost people. I don't want to hear about the weather. I hate summer. So anyway, I just wanted to throw this out there because when I saw this, I thought of UBN and his, I can't stand when it's 58 degrees and I'm going to wear a jacket. Piss off. I would take 25 degrees over this crap. Anyway, that was kind of our talk for the week. Also, a couple other things. I'm going to get to Jayden Daniels in a second, but did you see Tulane's City Edition uniforms? Did you see them? I wanted to show them here. Let's see. I thought actually, and I usually don't like this kind of stuff, but I do like this one. I like the uniform. The helmets need some work. But this came out, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but what do we think about these Tulane? I don't know about the Kelly green, which is a little, I'm not sure why they decided to go with that green. If they would have gone with their own real green, I probably would have liked them a little bit more. But I do like them, and I know they're kind of going with the Mardi Gras theme, obviously, in the background and all that. But I like them, especially for one game. I wouldn't like them if they were their real uniforms, but to wear for City Edition and stuff like that. What do you think of Tulane's new uniforms? Drop that in the comments. Now, the helmets I don't like as much. I thought they went a little bit. I didn't necessarily love the ones they had last year. You remember they had the New Orleans street block names on the back of their helmets, and I think it was the Tulane, which is the kind of a North Carolina blue. Now they're going to be pissed off because I called it North Carolina blue, but you know what I mean. So this year they went with this as their helmets. I apologize, it's a little fuzzy. And if you're listening to the audio only podcast, and you obviously can't see, you can go look them up. But basically, it's the Tulane color green with the green wave on there, and he's wearing a Mardi Gras jester hat with a pair of beads in front of his head, and then the big stripe down the middle of the helmet with some purple, green, and gold diamonds. And you got interlaced with some beads shaped in the form of a diamond, which I've never seen a bead shaped in the form of a diamond in my life, but good. I'm glad you tried it. Whatever. I thought it was a bit much. But hey, I appreciate the effort. I do like them better. I didn't really like last year's very much. This one I like. So anyway, good job, Tulane. And again, we got to remember it's about making it fun, right? So there you go. There your Tulane City editions. What do you think? I'll get to your comments in just a minute. You know what? In fact, we're about to get to it here. So let me get started because before I talk about Jayden Daniels and then get into the Saints, and I want to give a shout out to someone here, a retirement. If you didn't hear about it, get into that in just a minute. But before we get to all that, let me tell you about our friends at Evangeline Securities. Of course, they're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. You know what? My buddy here, my friend, my amigo, my niece, my uncle, my grandpa, whoever, they're thinking about selling their business, but they don't even know what it's worth. That's where Evangeline can at least get you started. They could go a lot further than that, but if you don't even know how to get started, you got to reach out to Evangeline's founding partner, Nick Braden. He will start, like I said, by scheduling a complimentary valuation from his office, either on Poydras Street or in Lafayette. And from there, you'll be well informed to begin to make the decision on if you want to proceed. And if you want to, what happens after? Okay, I want to proceed. What happens? You're going to have to wait till later in the show. Meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinesecurities.com. You can also check out my friend Joe DiStefano
Louisiana, we're leveling up, and people are taking notice. Our team has grown its sales by 67% since this time last year, but don't worry, we're still searching for ambitious people who want more out of life than the 9-to-5 routine. With Level Up Louisiana, we offer real support, real training, real opportunity, no corporate fluff, no empty promises. If you're hungry for growth, tired of ceilings, or simply ready for a change that actually moves your life forward, this might be your moment. This sounds like you? Scan the QR code on the screen or email us at louisiana.division@ushacareers.com. That's louisiana.division@ushacareers.com. You can also call or text Joe DiStefano at 504-234-2132. With offices in Mandeville and Baton Rouge, you build your future with Level Up Louisiana.
Let's get on with the show. Normally, this is the time I change the slide and start talking about the Saints, but I got something before we get to that, and it's Jayden Daniels. And Jayden Daniels is not happy. According to multiple media outlets, I'm just going to go through. The one that I saw the most information from is on ESPN. Also, it kind of goes with, Gabe, I saw you put some breaking news in there, but it's basically, I don't really think that's a factor, honestly. Jayden Daniels is pissed off at LSU. He has told them, again, I'd love to have your opinion in here, whether you're watching live or after the fact. He's informed, this is from ESPN's report, quote, informed LSU that it can no longer use his name, image, and likeness, according to an August 5th letter sent to Tigers athletic director Verge Osbury. He doesn't want anyone wearing number 5. Does he have a beef? They don't let anybody wear number 9. I mean, even though the only, according to this story, and as far as I know, by the way, let's see, the only number that, by the way, it's DJ Pickett that's wearing number 5, and he's going to continue to wear it, from what I understand, despite the cease and desist. But the cease and desist, it doesn't prohibit LSU from using the number 5. They just can't. They can't put number 5 with Daniels on the back of jerseys and hang it up anywhere. But anyway, where is it? Live TV, dumbass. Retired jersey of the former players. Billy Cannon wear number 20. Tommy Casanova 37. Jerry Stovall 21. Charles Alexander number 4. And they plan to retire Burt Jones is number 7. Now, the thing is, they don't really let anybody wear number 9, as far as I know. Nobody's worn 9 since Burrow left, right, Gabe? As far as I know, I don't think they have. If they have, I haven't noticed it. Possible that it's happened, but LSU's policy basically is this: any number, and this is a long-standing policy. It's almost 20 years in the making. Any number retired after January 1st, 2007, quote, does not preclude a current student athlete in that sport from wearing the jersey number in that or any other sport, subject to the discretion of the head coach. In other words, if the number was quote unquote retired or even semi-retired, it's up to the coach whether they want to allow the number 5 to be worn, or the number 9 to be worn, or the number 37 to be worn. The only number that cannot be worn and will not be worn is Billy Cannon's number 20, the LSU's first Heisman Trophy winner. So theoretically, somebody could wear 37, somebody could wear 4, which I know I've seen 4 multiple times. Charles Alexander's number hasn't been really retired. And even though Burt Jones' 7 is going to be retired, many players have worn 7. Many players they will continue to allow players to wear 7. And my guess is that someday, probably, they will allow someone, if they haven't already, allow someone to wear 9. I love Jayden Daniels. But I think that he's making too much out of this. I think that you can't retire when you talk about college football and you have 120-man rosters, it's impossible to take away 8, 7, 8, 9 numbers. You just can't do it. I mean, you can, but you have enough issues trying to give people numbers as it is. I mean, we're going to start going to what? 3-digit numbers? You can't do it. So I love Jayden Daniels, but on the grand scheme of things, does he measure? I mean, I know people are going to compare. They're going to compare him to Joe Burrow and say, well, you're not letting anybody wear number 9. Gabe says Grant Delpit wore number 9 until he's given number 6. Number 7, I mean. And then he and Burrow were the last ones to wear number 9. I mean, it's I feel I mean, I get it. I get the complaints and I understand the reasoning, but are we really going to have that much of a hang up over numbers? I don't know. It depends on who it is. I mean, when you talk about the Saints, I've seen multiple. You want to hear something that I think is blasphemy? I mean, I've seen multiple players wear 57. Ricky Jackson's in there. Now, that number should not be worn by anyone, in my opinion. Why is anyone wearing number 57? No one wears number 8. You know, I thought it was maybe people won't agree with me because they love them some Taysom Hill, but I didn't think number 7 should be worn again. We know number 9's never going to be worn again for the Saints, but it's somewhere along the line you got to draw lines, and especially in college football, it's even harder. I mean, Joe Burrow not only won the Heisman Trophy, but won the national championship. There's a difference. I don't know. Lots of feelings there. Maybe I'll bring it up with Zach. We'll see. Again, I'll be interested to get your comments on it. We got to get rolling. Gabe says he saw a fun hypothetical. If Joe Burrow came to the Saints, would fans be okay with him wearing number 9? Absolutely not. No, number 9's never being worn again. Sorry, I don't care who it is. I don't care if you had the chance, say 10 years from now, whoever the best quarterback in the NFL is, and he wants to come play for the Saints and he wears number 9 and he wants to wear number 9's not being worn again. I would have, and look, I grew up loving Archie Manning. I cried the day that Bum traded him to the Oilers for Leon Gray, one of the most ridiculous trades in Saints history. However, if I had to choose, as far as personal, because I grew up with Archie Manning, I have more, I guess, feelings for Archie Manning than I do for Drew Brees. I know that sounds weird. But if the Saints had to unretire and allow someone to wear either 8 or 9, no one's wearing 9. It just, each one is different though, right? Each one is different. I just think that they're making too much out of this. And I don't think it's the end of it. I think Jayden Daniels, I think we're going to hear more of this. But cease and desist, what does that actually even mean? By the way, Gabe, can you send Zach an invite? I forgot to do that a little while ago in my haste. And before we move on, a tip of the cap to Teddy Bridgewater. In fact, now I can change the slide because we're going to go to nothing but Saints here. We're going to get to the poll question in just a moment as well. Tip of the cap to Teddy Bridgewater, who retired Monday right after we went off the air. He said, "This time it's official, 33 years old, was placed on the Detroit Lions retired reserve list." What did we think about Teddy Bridgewater retiring? It was Baker Mayfield's backup last year, signed with Detroit in March. You know, sometimes guys just get into camp. Remember the Honey Badger? Guys just get in the camp. They start practicing, and they realize all of a sudden my body feels a little bit older. Do I really want to go through all this again? And do I want to, I mean, is it really worth it for 6 months of being a backup? And you know what? A lot of guys just say no. And Teddy's been through a whole lot in his career. Finished with 15,182 passing yards, 75 touchdowns, 47 picks. Started 65 games from, I didn't even realize that. Started 65 games for 5 teams, including 6 with the Saints, as you know. He said, quote, "This wheel of mine can no longer deal with something so simple as standing around on a turf field." I mean, again, you can understand that. And so I give a tip of the cap and a salute to Teddy Bridgewater this morning. Obviously, when you talk about backup quarterbacks in the history of this team, I mean, there might not be one that's more beloved than Teddy Bridgewater, even though he started 6 games here. I mean, you think about him, maybe you can come up with a couple, but definitely a tip of the cap to Teddy Bridgewater this morning. So I wanted to talk about that. And then real quickly, before we move on, get to the poll question. People so desperate for football. I saw this this note on social media the other day. Just shy of 7 million people watched the Hall of Fame game last Thursday night. That's almost as many people who watched the Dattitude podcast Monday. I think it missed it by like 100,000, something along the. I'm kidding. Compare that to the NBA Finals. The Finals. Now, the Finals doubled their numbers this year because the Knicks were in it. So let's throw that one out. but the previous 4 finals of the NBA. Think about this: 22, 23, 24, and 25. The previous 4 finals combined, if you combine them, they averaged close to 11.5 million viewers per game. Think about that for a second. 11.5 million viewers per game for the NBA Finals, 22, 23, 24, and 25. But yet, the NFL Hall of Fame game, absolutely meaningless preseason game, got 7 million people. It goes to show you how much football is ahead of everything else. The World Series had a little bit more than the NBA, but not a whole lot. I mean, so you're talking about, and Hall of Fame game got what, 60% of what an NBA Finals game would get, normal NBA Finals game would get, and it got about half of what a World Series game would get. It's crazy when you think about that. Crazy. Anyway, I want to throw that number out there as we get rolling here and start talking about the Saints. Reminder, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, subscribe to our Dattitude YouTube channel. We're live every Monday at 9 a.m. and Thursday at 9 a.m. And once the season starts, a month from today, you see the QR code that Gabe has put up on the screen. 1 month from today, we'll have our first Sunday show, pregame show. That will be live every Sunday, beginning on September the 13th at 9 a.m. So it will be Monday, Thursday, and Sunday once the season begins. Looking forward to that. And we will have a preview show on those days. Now, when the Saints play at noon at home, that may be a little bit interesting because if I'm going to the game, I'm not going to all of them, but I'm going to go to, I'll probably be covering most of them there, and I'll do my Derry's Dime from the dome floor. But we'll see how it goes. But anyway, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the show on YouTube. We would appreciate it very much. Trying to get to, well, we were trying to get to 5,000. I'm trying to be realistic. So let's try to get to 3,000. You can help us do that. Tell your friends about us. And thanks for all the support. If you want to talk to me, if you listen after the fact, you can find me on X at Jim Derry or email me at jimderry.com. What is different about this show? You know what it is. You talk to us. We talk back to you. And it's time to get to our commenters. We got to start with UBN, who we're going to give his predictions for NFC West and AFC West a little bit later. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat, and always the biggest supporter of the show, no question, Uncle Big Nick. Says, go buy a tank top. Hell no. This dude don't wear tank tops. Ain't happening. He wants to know if they're going to play the Minneapolis Miracle for the Breeze Hall induction or Ring of Fame induction. Yeah. You can watch that. Go make yourself miserable. Stay miserable, my friends. Go watch it. Mr. J. Hamilton, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. We appreciate you very much. As always, John, thank you for supporting the show. All the regulars out there, all the family members. I know I'm behind on the comments. Can I roll through them? Zach is already in the green room, and he's got to be out of here by, I think, 10:20, he said. So we're going to be rolling in just a minute. Jody, happy Thursday. Appreciate you. Rocky, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Charles Mangus, good morning. A heated discussion the other day on Slack. Yeah, well, stuff happens. We're not going there today. Why would you bring that up on here? Lance, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Sav's here. Thank you, sir. Padres sweeping the Brewers. Boy, you hate when that happens. I'm going to tell you what happened real quick on that, Sav, and everybody else. And I know Luke Johnson's very upset somewhere. So he's a big Brewers fan. My son said on Sunday afternoon, we were talking about the Cubs maybe getting back in the race at the time. They were, 6.5 games back or whatever it was. There's no chance. They have no chance to catch the Brewers. Bam! As soon as he said that, Cubs go on a roll. Brewers get swept. Love it. Good morning, Brian. Glad you're here. Some of these we're going to get to in a little bit. S. Callie, appreciate you. Oh, boy. UBN also says, what a shuck. I always have that confused look on his face. Good luck carrying the city on your back. All right. Haters are coming out. Let them come out. San Luis Obispo, who dat? Good morning. From San Luis Obispo, who dat, California. We appreciate you so much. Yeah, congrats to Kyle for sure. And Jerry's here. You know Jerry's here. Jerry's got to be here. He is not in panic mode. Come on, man. Why would you be in panic mode? All right, I'm running through. Yep, I had to bring up. Look, Derek Carr's got a new job. I had to talk about it, Lance. Come on, man. You know I'm going to talk about it. Jason Benson. He does all his game. Derek Carr does all his game planning at Chipotle. Maybe he does. Y'all got some good stuff today. I can't get to all of them. Musette is with me. The Heat. You know what I say? Foff. UBN Foff. You can figure out what that means. Paul Laporte woulda, coulda, shoulda gotten a kicker. They got a kicker. They'll be fine. There you go. Panicking. They got a kicker. They'll be fine. Rob likes the two-lane. The two-lane could have done without the stripe. Why people hate those stripes? They bitch about it with the Saints too, and then when they wear that weird, I don't really necessarily like the weird stripe they got on the black helmets, but whatever. Alvin likes the Tulane City uniform. Helmet looks kind of cool. All right, we're gonna roll. I promise you, a couple of these that I haven't got to, we're gonna do it. Ace Boogie's picking the Saints to go 2-15. Troll City, dumbass of the week. We haven't had one. You win. Adam Varner, good morning. You're going to have to watch later. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. And Sean wants to know, in the first scrimmage, what do you want to see to call it a success? No injuries. That's what I would call it success. Time to get to the man, the myth, the legend. He's here. Quite often he's up there. I think you're the second most frequent guest on this show. Zach Ewing, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you and everybody except for Jayden Daniels, who's apparently upset about
He's pissed.
things, man.
They're getting a little pissed.
I think it's his mama.
You think it's his mama? Well, man.
She's still his agent.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
And you know, I mean, I think she's done a fine job from all reports, but I think she's still a little kind of helicopter mom a little bit, even at this point. And I just wonder if that's because I don't know Jayden personally, but it strikes me as something against like that he wouldn't raise a big stink about, but she might. I'm just guessing.
Oh, I mean, it just sounds, I mean, who cares? I mean, you have so many at this point, they have multiple Heisman Trophy wall, you know, and there'll be people out there, well, they're not letting anybody wear Burrow's number. I mean, Burrow, I'm sorry. Burrow is head and shoulders above Jayden Daniels. He is. I mean, it just is. And it's, at some point, they're going to let somebody wear the number 9, too. No one's number is really retired except for Billy Cannon's. And when you look at, you know, I found it interesting that Lane Kiffin, who doesn't mind stepping in any kind of doo-doo, basically says, I don't want any part of this. They did this before I got here. And, you know, Pickett's going to wear 5. They told him he can wear 5. I'm not going to tell him now he can't be. So, you know.
Yeah, it's a kind of a messy situation. It's surprising to me that it got to this point without some discussion and cooler heads prevailing. But
Yeah.
We have a story coming up. Koki talked to DJ Pickett's father. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And so he could have gave up 5 if he wanted to, but I mean, why do it? Because they're just going to give it to somebody else. I mean, let's get real. We know that they probably would. And there's only so many single digits to be around. It's like, you know, the Yankees are a rare exception where they've retired 3, 4, 5, and 7. I don't think they retired 6.
Well, 2 is coming, right?
And 2 is coming. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be able to wear a single digit for too long if you're the Yankees. But that, again, that's a rare exception. So maybe they start opening up those things. Let me answer this real quick. Sean, I might crap on his question. I could. But why is Archie Manning's 8 so sacred with the Saints even though they never won anything with him? Because Archie Manning was the Saint. I mean, if you're not old enough to remember, then you're going to feel different. I mean, you might feel differently about it than I do. Gabe says all the Yankees single-digit numbers are retired. One's retired?
What's that?
One's retired? Eight's retired?
6
Yogi
is
Berra's
40.
numbers retired? Billy Martin's numbers retired? Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
anyway.
I think they went a little, and that's the danger in doing that. You go overboard with something like that. And, you know, 8 is Yogi Berra, I think. So that was
8 is Yogi Berra, but 9 is who?
9 is Roger Maris.
Roger Maris. Okay. That's a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Roger
tough.
Maris's number shouldn't be retired. That's crazy.
Held the most famous record in sports for almost 40 years.
Whoop-de-doo. One season retires your number.
I mean, I get your argument, but
Anyway, well, that's for the Yankees. I don't really give a rat's ass about the Yankees, so they can do whatever they want. Back to Sean's question. But again, if you're not old like me and you don't remember Archie actually playing, I mean, Archie was the Saints. There was nothing else besides Archie Manning for multiple years. So, I mean, yeah, did he win anything? No, he never had a winning season. But there's no question Archie Manning's numbers should be retired. I mean, he kind of changed the way that he helped change the way the quarterback play was made. How many offensive MVPs do you know from a losing had a losing season? And
like
same.
There's just certain, and you're right. I think you had to probably be there and be a fan of the team at the time. But there are certain players who hold a special emotional connection with their fan base that goes beyond. And I'm not saying his performance on the field isn't worthy of its own, but he's Mr. Saint. I mean, it just goes beyond that. And I wish I could think of another example off the top of my head, but there's certain players who just fit the ethos of that organization. And so their impact is going to go above and beyond what they did on the field.
I mean, Gabe says that's why, asking why Detroit retired Barry Sanders, number 20. Well, I mean, Barry Sanders is in the Hall of Fame and Archie isn't, but still. But yes, the Lions definitely didn't win anything with Barry Sanders in, so that's the point. Who dat Daddy? Welcome to the show. Glad you're here. Good morning.
Ron Santo with the Cubs, Jim, is probably a good example of that.
Yeah, number 10.
He was a good player, but his emotional connection to the team went above and beyond what he did on.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, was Ron Santo one of the greatest players I ever know? But he meant that much to the Cubs, that's for sure. I have no problem with his number being retired, and I've been a Cubs fan since I started watching baseball. Adam Varner wants to know how concerned am I about the kickers. I mean, Zach can answer for himself, but my concern level is 0.0. It's August the 13th. That kind of leads into the title for today. Basically, is who that's pressing the panic button. There are definitely a lot of things that I want to get into Saints wise, but we might as well lead into that because we have a segue, I guess. But I'm not concerned about hardly anything on August 13th. Maybe a little bit about the injuries per se. That would probably be my number one on my list. But as far as like Tyler Shuck throwing 2 picks and the offense looking shady for a couple days and the kicker struggling, I'm not worried about any of those things.
Yeah, I mean, people have to understand that we all say we don't want to overreact to 1 or 2 practices early in training camp. Well, okay, now it's been 11 practices. That's more than 1 or 2. But is that enough to draw sweeping conclusions? Of course it's not.
Right.
What I'm going to do is I'm doing this as we talk, Jim. Live TV, as you like to say. I am scrolling back through our archive of stories on NOLA.com, and I'm going to find August 13th of 2025. And I'm going to see what our headline.
That's a long scroll, buddy.
It is. I'm in December already. I'll get there. But
okay.
But my point in this exercise is going to be, what were we talking about? And the season started earlier last year. The season started on like September 9th last year, I think. So this year it's the 13th. So it's even closer to the season last August 13th. But I just wonder what we were talking about, because, I mean, I remember early in camp thinking, oh, Tyler Shuck's a bust. He's not going to challenge Rattler for the job. He doesn't have it. Can't remember what else all we were talking about, but I mean, like the point is, things change so fast. The Saints have a 10-day install of their offense. Kellen Moore told us that. Day 10 was literally Tuesday. They've had 1 day with the offense fully installed. 1. You cannot draw conclusions. Now, would it be better if Tyler Shuck was zipping touchdown passes all over the place and looked amazing? And yes, but then it would be just as silly for everybody to say Tyler Shuck winning the MVP. By God, he's taken the leap and he's going to be this year's Drake May, and the Saints are going to the Super Bowl. That would also be ridiculous to say if he was playing really well. You just have to realize where we're at on the calendar.
I think that's absolutely correct. You and I don't always agree on everything, but we certainly agree on that. I mean, I just think, again, there are certain things that you do have to worry about. I mean, Lehman Park says, if we're talking about it, then we already doomed. I mean, you go on social media, and again, I probably don't spend as much time on social media as I used to, but you go through it, and there are legitimately, I see some of the same people who were basically riding a magic carpet 2 weeks ago saying how great Tyler Shuck is, said, oh my God, he threw 2 picks. This is so terrible. We're going to be terrible this year. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, it's like, can we not be so bipolar? They're not that great when you think they're that great, they're not. When you think they're that bad, they're not. Somewhere in the middle lies the truth.
Absolutely. And I will say, I think the next 11 days, next 10, 11 days are going to be a lot better for some meaningful conclusions. Still will be early. That doesn't mean things can't change. Because I'll tell you what, I'm looking back at August 13th of last year. Look back at October 13th of last year, after the Saints had just gotten drilled by Buffalo and Seattle. And I mean, then you really would see some doomsday stuff. And it turned out
they were 0-4, and then they were 2-10 before they finally won some games.
It turned out to be okay. And the way our system is, I opened one story and closed it, and it reset me back to current day. So I'm not gonna. But the point is, I was just reading the practice on August 13th of 2025. Spencer Rattler took all the snaps with the ones except for about 5. He was much sharper than Tyler Shuck. He was way ahead, and Jake Haener was still in the competition. That's where we were at a year ago.
I mean, yeah.
So
think about that.
The headline was that Jake Haener looked like he was the odd man out. He was starting to fall out of it, but we were still talking about Jake freaking Haener on August 13th of last year. And again, we're a full month away. We're exactly a month away from the Saints opener right now. We were less than a month away because they started the season earlier last year. So we were even closer to the season, and we're still talking about Jake Haener. That's how early this is.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show, I mean, how much things change in a short period of time. Now, they probably won't change as much this year as they changed before, but I mean, still, I mean, the fact that we were talking about Jake Haener at all is just kind of absurd.
Now, to my point earlier, these next 10 days, you've got 3 joint practices starting this morning, starting right now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, next week in California with the Rams and Cowboys. And then you also have the first 2 preseason games, Jacksonville on Saturday, and then at the Rams next Saturday. Once we're done with those 5 things, I'm going to be willing to make a few more judgments where it's, okay, how did they look against other teams? Again, doesn't mean things can't change even during the season, but I think it's going to be instructive to see if this offense still shaky against other teams too, or is it just that the Saints defense maybe is really playing on point?
Well, I went to Times-Picayune archives and I searched for Saints between August 13th, 25 and August 16th, 25, and I just clicked on there are 29 stories. I clicked on one of them. Luke was in Irvine, California, and Tyler Shuck. The lead is Tyler Shuck missed an opportunity to make a big play during a scrimmage at the team's Metairie facility. This is from the day before. The rookie quarterback rolled to his left and saw receiver Rashid Shaheed, no longer on the team, flash open to the right in the end zone. He squared his shoulders to throw, tried to squeeze the ball through a window that was never really there, and linebacker Nefi Sewell read what was happening, no longer on the team, drifted back toward the middle of the field, easily intercepting the throw. It goes to show. I mean, that's just one story that I clicked on, and 2 of the 3 people mentioned aren't on the team anymore.
Colin Saunders was still on this team on August 13th of last. I think that trade for Luke Fortner was August 18th. So it's still so early, and I know it doesn't feel like it because we had nothing. We were in the football desert for 6 weeks, and now we've had a practice almost every day. And so you're like, oh my God, we got to draw these conclusions. It's still so early.
I got another one for you. Rod Walker's column. You ready for this one? Let me read it from you. The New Orleans Saints need Trevor Penning. Yes, you read that right. Forget the past 3 seasons of Penning's career, ... I mean, so just to prove your point, those were what Rod Walker was talking about, needing Trevor Penning and how bad Tyler Shuck was.
In fairness to Rod, they could have used a good season for Trevor Penning. They probably would have been a lot better if they had it. But I mean, the fact of the matter is he wasn't even on the damn team by November. So like every season is going to take twists and turns and ups and downs. And this one will be no different, and camp will be no different. And even in 2 weeks, when the Saints are preparing to play the Cowboys in their last preseason game, it's going to be like, it's going to feel like this was a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Good morning, A-Town, and to everybody else that I showed, all the regulars that are here this morning. Look, it is what it is. All right, I want to get to some things here this morning. By the way, everybody, I'm sorry I did not show the poll question yet. We'll get to it in a minute, I promise. When we get to the when we start talking about the AFC and NFC West predictions, we'll just have to jam pack everybody's vote into it very quickly. But tell us about some of the stories you got going on in NOAA.com. Saints and as they're getting into joint practices with the Jaguars, playing the Jaguars in their first preseason game at the Dome. Which, again, by the way, if you didn't hear me say it earlier, this is the only game that will be played in the Dome until September the 27th. So if you want to get your fix and get some Saints action, you got to go see them in preseason this week.
Isn't that weird, Jim? As someone who goes to most of the home games, like I feel like once you start going, you get into that rhythm of every 2 or 3 weeks you're going and I got to get up. For me, I got to drive down from Livingston Parish and like I've got to get up early and this is when I want to get there to beat the traffic and stuff. So we're doing that Saturday and then it's 6 more weeks before we do it again.
It's like Groundhog Day. Yeah, he saw his shadow.
So yeah, exactly. It's 6 more weeks of football winter. So it is a weird schedule, but I think the Saints actually, not that they chose the regular season schedule, but they wanted their preseason set up that way because they wanted to get out to California for a week, get out of the heat, have those joint practices, get a preseason game. They always knew they would have 2 road preseason games anyway. So I think they wanted the preseason to be this way. So that is what it is. But yeah, we've got a couple stories. One on Travis Etienne, a nice takeout that Matthew Paris is working on. I just read his first draft and like it's really good. And it's a guy who, honestly, it feels like we haven't talked a lot about Travis Etienne. There's a lot of drama.
I was thinking that yesterday, as a matter of fact.
There's a lot of drama with Alvin and, was he or wasn't he coming back? And then when he came back, what role will he play? And, the new receivers, and is Olave healthy? And is Olave getting his contract? Is Jordan Tyson healthy? How does Shuck look? New look O-line. I mean, all these things. And then you have this $52 million contract running back you paid who's sort of just going about his business. So he's obviously facing his old team in today's joint practice. I don't know how much he'll play on Saturday. Honestly, I don't think the Saints starters will play much, if at all. But he is going to participate, of course, in the joint practice today. So Matt's writing about him. Jeff Duncan's got a good column. I'm telling you, for preseason columns, this one's going to be pretty good. I don't want to give away the topic just yet, but look for that. It's probably going to publish tomorrow morning on the site. Maybe a little later in the day tomorrow, but I thought it was a really interesting angle Jeff took. So look for that too.
Oh, I'm sure the haters will be hating it. I mean, boy, man.
I don't think they'll hate this one. Even the haters won't hate this one, I don't think.
You know what? It's like, I guess, you've really made it in your area. If you got, does anybody have more haters than Jeff Duncan for the most ridiculously stupid reasons? I don't think so. At least not in this area. That's just my opinion. But I want to be like him one day. I want to have as many haters.
Well, I admire the way he deals with it too. He just does not care.
He really doesn't.
He's going to go about his job the best way that he knows how, which is really freaking good, and let people say what they're going to say.
And I saw one of our regulars talking about it. People don't realize about Duncan. I like about once every few weeks, I feel the need to just take up for him, and people hate this when I take up for him because whatever. I don't care if you don't.
But I don't think he even cares about that. He's fine.
No. Well, what I'm saying is there was a regular who was talking about, and I didn't send it to me. I just happened to see it on Facebook, talking about how they ran into Dunk in Canton and were kind of walking to the stadium, and he walked with them and talked to him for over 10 minutes. And that's who Dunk is. He'll have if Dunk's sitting in one of his favorite places, he's got one particular favorite place that he goes to all the time, and he's just sitting there, and someone came up and told him hello, I promise you, the next thing you know, they would probably be sitting at the bar or at the table or whatever, having a conversation, because that's who Dunk is. So people don't realize that. I want to talk about the depth chart and the opening quote unquote depth chart and how much it matters, or if it matters, let's say. And for the most part, it's I put it as almost meaningless. No one believes, if you look at this, it says Travis Etienne or Alvin Kamara. I'm about to lose. Here go the numbers. They're going to go down when I say this again, because people think I hate Alvin Kamara, which is ridiculously stupid. But no one in their right mind thinks that Etienne or Kamara is going to start. It's going to be Etienne. The reason why they have the or there is for the same reason why they have Cam Jordan listed as a starter and Chase Young or Carl Granderson in another spot. Let's get real. here. So in other words, depth charts, sometimes even on September 13th, some of the things in the depth chart are meaningless. But there were a couple of notes that I did take down that I did find interesting. And the first one that I want to talk about, and you could tell me your thoughts on initial depth charts, and while we get to this all at the same time. But I thought Barian Brown ahead of Trey Palmer was interesting. There's no reason for them to do that whatsoever. And the fact that he's there, I do find notable.
I mean, I think he's definitely more likely to make the roster than Palmer is, just simply because Barian Brown's a draft pick this year. Somebody else may be interested in him. I don't think he probably survives the practice squad. Somebody else will pick him up. Don't think that's probably the case with Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer's been bouncing around. He's had injuries, all of that kind of stuff, and he'll probably land on the practice squad. Okay, so I think just for that reason, and then combine that with the fact that Barian Brown may have a big role in the return game, that doesn't surprise me at all. As far as the Kamara stuff, yeah, these are just these depth charts. I mean, we see college programs do this all the time where they're just playing games. They don't want anybody to be named the starter yet. Yeah, Travis is going to be the starter, but would it surprise you if, let's say they game days, they always announce either the offensive starters or the defensive starters, not both, because it just takes too long. They'll announce Alvin with the offense as a starter on game days.
You got something to do for like you got something to do for like 1 minute. I'm gonna take you off the screen. I'm actually gonna bring Zach on. I'm gonna bring Gabe on, and then we'll have you come back in just a minute.
Sure thing.
You, by the way, Gabe, going on with, and I'm gonna get back to the depth chart in just a minute. Well, this is actually part of the depth chart, but you brought up the headline from August 13th, quote, in Saints quarterback one race. Does Shuck or Rattler have the lead? We still have trolls that every now and then bring this up like this is actually a thing.
That's the exact word I'd use to describe people who believe there's a quarterback competition as trolls. I think the only place that you potentially have a quarterback competition, and I don't think there is one, is quarterback 3. I think that's Zach Wilson's, and that's it. I think 1 through 3 is relatively decided.
I mean, and even if it isn't 100, I mean, even if you think Zach Wilson stinks, whatever, it doesn't matter. First of all, we've already said this. They need to get to quarterback 2. It's a cluster F. They're going to be in a lot of trouble. But there's barring injury, a 100.0% chance Tyler Shuck is your quarterback on.
I actually don't. I don't think it would be a cluster F, as you say, if they had to go to quarterback. I think Spencer Rattler showed that he's decent enough to game manage with a much better roster. Yeah, I think they'd. I'm not saying they would win the division with Spencer Rattler. But I'm saying if Tyler Shuck goes down and misses a few games, Spencer Rattler's a competent backup quarterback.
13, they're screwed.
I think they're screwed. I think that's.
We got a Rat fan here. All right, save that for your new segment coming up in just a minute. We're going to get to your picks in just a minute as well. All right. Gabe filled in for you. I hope everything's okay at home. I want to go to this. Breaking news already. Quote unquote, Scott Claymore saying Shuck is tearing it up against Jacksonville this morning. He's already back on. And there you go. Lance saying Shuck's looking good in team drills against Jacksonville so far. It just goes to show you. And I know Lance, and I'm not saying Lance or Scott, either one of those guys were one of the ones that I was saying on social media, saying the sky is falling Chicken Little. But, I mean, you could have a great day and people forget that you threw 2 picks the day before, right?
And I ruined the mood. Jordan Tyson just went to the training room, too.
Oh, no. Here they come. No details. He went to the training room. He's out for the season. I told you we shouldn't have drafted him in the first round, Zach.
It's not good. It's not good.
He went to the training room. What does that mean?
Nothing yet. But
exactly. Are you making a prediction?
If it's not serious, you don't go to the train. If it's not at least somewhat serious.
I don't know. It's 98. Oh, they're practicing inside, huh?
No, they're outside.
Oh, they're outside today?
Okay. Yeah, you're right. It could just be dehydration.
I mean, it's 90 whatever outside today. All right. There was something else I want to talk about the depth chart. And if you hear any more about
Jordan Tyson, please interrupt me and stop me there. But I also thought a couple other interesting things. I mean, not necessarily interesting that Bryce Lance is number 2 behind Tyson. I think we've all talked about we think Bryce Lance is going to make this team. I mean, I think maybe only a few people don't. But you look at Devon Vele, and in that third wide receiver spot, he's one. That's not a surprise. But right behind him, because I think Kevin Austin has a really decent chance to make this team because he kind of fills something under the receiver. We talked the other day about maybe 4 tight ends are going to make it. You and I disagree on whether 4 tight ends are going to make it. But I think if only 3 tight ends make it, I think that gives Kevin Austin. I think Kevin Austin is the one that's fighting maybe against Maliki for that spot right there.
You're saying if it's 3 tight ends, it'll be 6 wide receivers?
Yes. I think it'll be 6 receivers.
Got Olave, Tyson, Vele,
Brown, Lance.
Lance, and then
I think Austin has a really good chance to make this team because of his history with this team and because of what he brings, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, he's a valued guy. It's a little, and it's kind of it's a good competition there. I mean, we'll see what happens with Tyson, but you're talking about Bub Means has had a decent camp. Ronnie Bell has had a good camp. Like there's a couple of other guys who have flashed a little bit. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. And I've said this before. I think they keep 6 wide receivers and 4 tight ends. So
I just don't think
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, predictions of who's going to make the roster on August 13th are silly because we don't know what injuries there are going to be. There are going to be injuries and things like that. And speaking of injuries, Who Dat Daddy said he's sitting there holding his breath, hoping nobody gets hurt. You're not the only one. Sav says could have had Caleb Downs shaking his head. Yeah, they could have, but they made the right choice and picking Jordan Tyson. Don't get me started on that. I know Zach probably disagrees with me, but I'm not going backwards. I'm only going forward.
We'll see. I mean, you could absolutely be right.
Some other things here on the depth chart. It's easy to find though. It goes to show that how much it's already changed. Dylan Radins is on here as the backup. Obviously, he's out for the season, so he'll be taken off there. We don't know. Do we know any more on Cam Jordan's injury?
It looks like he'll miss regular season games. Is the latest I've heard. So he will not be ready week 1. Maybe pretty. I don't think he's like a pup guy who can't play for the first 4 or 6 weeks or whatever. I don't think it's that serious, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him miss a game or 2.
And no, Gabe, I did not see what Caleb did anybody see what Caleb Downs bought with his first NFL check? Why is it? Did you? So I assume he's going to type in and tell me. All right. Anyways. I mean, Cam Jordan is 76 years old. I don't know how old he is, but he did whip Joe Lewis's ass. He bought snakes and a tarantula with his first NFL paycheck. I mean, maybe the Saints could use some snakes and do some voodoo in the locker room and get rid of some of those injuries. All right. Anything else that you saw depth chart wise that kind of struck you? I mean, again, you look through some of these things. Vernon Broughton is in there as one of the starters. Danny Stutzman is not on the starter list, but he sure is playing a whole lot. And from all words, again, you take this with a grain of salt, but Danny Stutzman looking good in practice. I think you're going to see a lot of Kristen Miller, even though Devon Godshaw is ahead of him. So, I mean, just some of the things that you've seen on the depth chart that strike you, if anything.
I mean, I would say one thing is that you are seeing Jordan Tyson, Christian Miller, Bryce Lance, Baring Brown. These rookies are being put where they belong instead of doing the whole, well, they're rookies. Let's start them at the bottom and we'll move them up. Jordan Tyson's listed as a starter, as he should be. Christian Miller, I think, is going to play a lot, as he should. So I think that they know they've got some young talent in there. I was interested not just at the at running back, but also Kendry Miller still being listed as third string.
Yeah.
And the guy doesn't get on the field. He can't.
Right.
I mean, at this point, my money would be on Audric Estime for that spot, but there's still time. I mean, there is time. If Kendry Miller comes back next week and has a huge week in joint practices and a preseason game, like, he'll be right back there. So, I
mean, Audric Estime isn't even in the top 4 right now at running back. It's, they got Chen Kamara 1A and 1B, which makes Kendry Miller. They still have Kendry Miller right behind him, as you said. So, I mean, we'll see how banged up he is, but I disagree there. I think Kendra Miller, again, I've been saying this for months. I still believe it. My regulars don't like me when I say this, but Kendra Miller is going to get every single opportunity to have that job.
I agree with you, but we're on the last.
I'm not saying you don't.
We're on the last opportunity. This is it.
We keep saying that, and then it's not the last opportunity.
No, I didn't. I mean, I haven't said that until now. But if he cannot stay on the field, what are we doing? I mean, I guess if you could store him on the practice squad, but he can't. If he can't stay on the field, he can't play. I don't disagree with his talent level as well, but at some point it just becomes an availability issue.
Well, they can keep laughing all they want when he ends up being the RB2, because I actually think it's going to be Kamara is probably going to end up getting hurt because he's 94 years old in dog years. Brian Cavett says, I'm not taking into account the change in philosophy. I'm 100% in taking into account the change in philosophy. 4 tight ends are in vogue. The Saints are sure there will be times when they use a 3 tight end philosophy, but you don't need to have 4. And Zach and I do disagree on this, but I'm okay with it. You don't need 4 tight ends to be able to run a 3 tight end set. You just don't. If one of them gets hurt in the first quarter, well, then you roll the dice and take the chances. And if that happens, then you can't run that package, or you have to put someone else that's prepared to play in that role in an emergency situation, in my opinion. But, again, I don't want to spend too much time talking about this because we talked about it last Friday, but it just doesn't make sense to have Maliki on this active roster when you can 100% makes it to the practice squad. If you need to call him up for a certain game, one of those guys gets hurt, one of the 3 guys gets hurt, and you need a tight end for any specific game, then you call him up. But he's not going to. He's clearly would be able to make it to the practice squad. There's no reason to have him on your active roster. It's wasting a spot. But
it's going to be 4 tight ends, Jim.
Okay, I disagree. All right, moving on here. Final notes on the Saints, and I'm going to get back to the Saints when Zach goes off. But I want to spend a little bit more time on the picks than we did last week, or at least give us a buffer, because I rushed you through it last week and we never even got to the poll question. But is there anything else you wanted to talk about Saints wise? Is there anything else you see that might have happened this morning?
No, I mean,
know about?
All the reports are pretty glowing from what I can tell. And it looks like Tyson is maybe okay. Maybe, like you said, he did stay down after a play for a few minutes and then got back up. And it was a few minutes after that he went to the training room. But it looks like he might be back out there. I'm trying to figure that out as we talk here. But
okay. If you see it, let us know. No, you're on for about another 15 minutes. UBN wants to know, he has a great question, more relevant than practice. Should he start Freed versus the M's today?
I regret to inform everyone that baseball season has been canceled. They're just not having it anymore.
Okay, all right.
My secondary response to that would be, if you're debating whether to start Max Fried against the Mariners, how good is your pitching staff? That's like the best matchup of the year. They can't hit lefties anyway. And now you're bringing one of the best ones in baseball. Oh, yeah.
All right. Again, I'm going to get back to Saints at about 10:20, but I want to jump into our predictions today. And we're doing the AFC West and the NFC West. And before we do, Gabe, you ready to show the poll question that I never showed? We're going to ask this question. I'll even let you answer it before we even show the NFC West. But the question today is, who will have the – can you put that bottom left for me? I'd rather cover up. There you go.
I should have known Nick was talking about DFS, by the way. But, yeah, that's a smash. Exactly. I don't know what his ownership will be, but
who will have the best season in 2026? And I can only fit 4. So I picked 2 that I thought would be the most talked of each side. Some people may have you left out the Chargers or you left out the 49ers. I can only fit 4 in the poll question. There you go. Anyway, so who will have the best season of these 4 teams in 2026? Type in the number 1 if you think the answer is the Denver Broncos. Type in the number 2 if you think the answer is the Kansas City Chiefs. Type in the number 3 if you think the answer is the Los Angeles Rams. Type in the number 4 if you think the answer is the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to give Gabe my answer in just a second so he can type it in for me. But what would your answer to this list be?
I think it's got to be 3. I hate being chalky and going with but I mean, the Rams have built a juggernaut. Like, I mean, we can talk about you want to talk about the NFC West first or the AFC West? We're talking AFC West.
We're going to talk about the AFC West first, but if you're giving your reason, and I'm okay with you talking about the Rams.
I'll get to it. And I mean, I just think the Rams are I mean, injuries could happen to any team, and clearly it's probably a little bit of an elevated risk for them because they do have some of their star players are older. But if they stay even remotely healthy, I just don't see any way anybody beats them over a 17-game season. And the playoffs are a different animal, but they've obviously had success there too.
Playoffs? I couldn't help myself. I'm gonna say this, and I know we won't have as many votes in the poll question today because I'm probably gonna shut it off. Well, I won't shut it off till probably when Gabe's comes on later, but give you a chance to vote. But again, who will have the best season of these four teams? Type in the number 1 if you think it's the Denver Broncos. Type in the number 2 if you think it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Type in the number 3 if you think it's the Los Angeles Rams. And type in the number 4 if you think it's the Seattle Seahawks. Gabe, you can leave that up a little bit longer. I'm not going to give my answer until we actually get to my picks. But go ahead and talk about your pick, Zach. You've got the Denver Broncos win the AFC West over 9.5. Obviously, if they win the AFC West, they're almost certainly going to win more than 9.5 games. Then you got the Chiefs second, under 10.5. You've got the Chargers under 9.5, and in third place, and you got the Raiders over 5.5. What of these four, which one is your best bet?
I'm gonna say the Broncos going over. Okay. The Chiefs really have me kind of tied in knots because you just don't know when Mahomes is going to be back and how effective he'll be when he comes back, and what the division standings look like at that time. And so I think they're just kind of a wild card. I picked them under, but I could see 10-7 or 11-6. I mean, I think that number's probably about right. Same with the Chargers. Like, would it shock me if they went 10-7? No, but I just have them pegged kind of for 9-8. But the Broncos, to me, I think that offense is better than people give it credit for. The defense has been, playing at an extremely high level the last couple of years. That may regress a little bit, but I just think Sean Payton's offense, I think he's got the pieces he needs in there. And I think while Bo Nix is not like a top 10 quarterback necessarily, he's good enough to make it hum. And I just like what they've got going on. And I think that they're at least a 10-win team.
You're not buying into the Chiefs and obviously they had a weird season last year and Mahomes got hurt and there towards the end. Is he going to be back? How much longer does Andy Reid coach? There's a lot of questions with the Chiefs, but you're not buying their Kelsey signed, renewed his contract. Their running game may be a little bit better. They draft a rookie. I mean, they bring in Kenneth Walker. Just different things going on there, but you're not buying that they're going to win more than 10 games.
I mean, I like I said, I could see them going 11-6 or something. It wouldn't surprise me, but if you're putting a gun to my head, I'm going to say 10-7. Even before Mahomes got hurt last year, they were clearly off. I think more than even the running game, they kind of lack weapons in the passing game. Like Rashee Rice is obviously the linchpin.
Sure.
Maybe he could spark something for them. It wouldn't surprise me, put it that way, but I'm just not. I think this division's gotten really good. I think even the Raiders are going to be with Clint Kubiak pulling the strings. I think they're going to have a pulse. They'll probably knock somebody off they shouldn't beat and kind of, they might be like the Saints of last year where they start slow, but then they kind of get it going behind the rookie quarterback and go win 6 or 7 games. And there's a good division, and I just don't know that I trust the Chiefs to just roll through people to the tune of 11 or 12 wins.
Earl, if you want your vote to count, you have to type in just the number 3. I'm glad you gave me your full order, but if you want your vote to count, you have to go back in and type in just the number 3, and then it will count. All right, I'm going to put the poll question back up just for a second because I'm going to give my answer now. Because my answer is in the AFC West. And the question again, who will have the best season in 2026? Type in the number 1. If you think it's the Denver Broncos, type in the number 2. If you think it's the Kansas City Chiefs, type in the number 3. If you think it's the Los Angeles Rams, type in the number 4. If you think it's the Seattle Seahawks. And I think it's going to be type in the number 2 for me, Gabe. I think it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that they have a rebound. Look, again, I get why people are not so much loving the Chiefs, and I'm not buying the Broncos. We saw what happened when Peyton was here, 2006. They won. They made it to the NFC Championship game, shocked the world, and then everybody thought they were going to be great again in 2007, and they went 8-8 or 7-9. I can't remember which one. I think 8-8. But they kind of I think the Broncos are in for a little bit of regression. I don't think they're nearly as good as people think they are. I know the whole Peyton connection, people love them. And I think the Chargers are actually going to take a step up. It would not shock me if the Chargers and Chiefs both won like 11 or 12 games. I think that is going to be a 2-team race by Thanksgiving, in my opinion. I like both the Chargers and the Chiefs to be up there, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs because I think I just think they're too good. They have 2 seasons in a row like they had last year. I don't know that I'm picking them to go to the Super Bowl, but I do like the Chiefs to have a big rebound year.
I could see that. I'd actually be more confident in them, when the playoffs start, saying, okay, they're going to make a run as the 5 seed or whatever they are, or, than I would be saying they're going to rack up 12 or 13 regular season wins. I'm proud of you though, Jim. I'm thinking back to our early Bayou Bets days, and Gabe or Devin and I would always say, give me the Spencer, give me the Chiefs minus 6.5 this week. That's the best bet on the board. And you would always bet against the Chiefs, win some, lose some. But I mean, like you were just
because they would always inflate the Chiefs
being
number.
Overvalued.
I mean, they're not over. I mean, to me, they're not overvalued anymore. I actually think that's a decent price. And I think if I remember correctly, Gabe, you can look this up, look on DraftKings, but I think that the number is actually juiced to the under. So I think you can get 10.5 for like even money, or maybe even a little bit better than even money.
Yeah, that's a big number though, man, especially if
it is a big number.
How effective Mahomes will be early. And I wonder, like, if I don't know.
Well, let's look at their schedule. Let's look at their schedule. I like to call these.
Broncos, I know that.
Well, and remember, they're not playing the first place schedule anymore, so that's a little bit different for them too. But they open up. They've got 2 games in a row at home, and then they play 2 games in a row that they're going to win. So they open up against Denver. I think they'll beat Denver. We'll see what does on a Monday night.
That's the first Monday night game.
If they beat Denver, they've got an excellent chance to go 4-0. They play Denver at home, Indianapolis at home, at Miami, at Vegas before their bye week in week 5, which is an early bye week. That is an excellent chance to start 4-0.
That is true. And if Mahomes is either not back or is a little bit rusty early in the season and they start 4-0, then that's fantastic news for them. I'm going to say Denver goes in there and wins in week 1. Maybe the Chiefs start 3-1.
Some of
and then it does get a little tougher later where they do play. Obviously, they play the Broncos and Chargers twice each. They play the Seahawks. They play the Rams and 49ers and Bengals and Bills. And they've got a reasonably tough schedule down the stretch.
Okay, maybe. I mean, after the bye week, it's home versus the Chargers, tough game. Then at Seattle, at Denver, obviously very tough. Then home for the Jets, at Atlanta versus the Cardinals. I mean, so to me, you're looking at, let's see, what is that? That is 10 games. I think you're looking at 7-3.
Yeah, it's the final stretch, like from Thanksgiving on.
Well, it's the next stretch that is their problem. At Buffalo, at the Rams, at the Bengals in succession. That is going to be an interesting stretch for them. Can they win 2 out of those 3?
Well,
maybe,
and follow that right up. New England, San Francisco, and the Chargers again. So you got 6 games in a row there. That's
I don't think the Niners are any good. I don't think the Niners are any good at all.
Well, they might not.
They're going to be a 6-win team. Yeah, we'll get to that. I'm giving a spoiler alert, and I actually think the Patriots kind of take a little bit of a regression too. But anyway, that 3-game stretch on the road is brutal right around Thanksgiving. There's no question about that. But it's easy. I mean, this is why the bookmakers make money. Aaron Michael, I'm not dissing on you. Aaron Michael 318, Chiefs are on the downhill side. We keep saying that. If you took a poll, I'm the only person that's picked the Chiefs to be good here. And my best bet, I asked you for your best bet on this list. Your best bet is Broncos. Well, mine is too. My best bet is the Broncos under. I think the Broncos are going to have a losing season. I think they take a major step backward. I don't think they're nearly as good as people think they are. And I'm not saying that they won't be good again, because I do think they will be. Bo Nix is clearly better than I thought he would be when he went into the NFL. That wouldn't take a whole lot. But I think they're being, overhyped.
You could be right. I mean, there's always teams that have those hangovers after they kind of have their breakout season, fall back to earth. So Patriots could be that team. Broncos could certainly be that team. But at the same time, I just look around at the talent. I think the Broncos have the most talent in the division outside of the quarterback. And so
fair enough.
I'm going to give them the nod.
Well, it will be interesting. We're going to we will revisit this at some point in one of our Thursday sessions later on in the year. Zach's best bet in the AFC West is Broncos over 9.5, and mine is under 9.5. We don't usually do that kind of thing, but we are here. And Gabe says, by the way, the Chiefs number is more. It's more like 10 and not 10.5 because the over is 10.5 is plus 115. If you could, real quick, you have that up still, Gabe. You could tell me if you did an alt bet, what is the over 9.5? I'm guessing it's like minus 140 or something along those lines. Maybe I'd be more inclined to take a minus 140 at over 9.5. Just to be safe.
Or like minus 170 if I'm understanding. Win totals are hard in the NFL. They are hard.
I used to bet a lot of them, and now only pick a few of them out of minus 160. Minus 160.
Like a best bet, and I'm looking at them going, man, I don't feel that confident in any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, we're not telling you to go run into the window on anything. Good morning, Phil Mariani. We're welcome. We're glad you're here. Lance says Broncos defense legit, defensive coaching is legit. Adding Waddle was nasty for Sean. I think they're just in for a major regression. I think Bo Nix is going to take a step backwards as well. All right, moving on to the NFC West here because we only got two minutes left with you. But just tell me.
I can say probably 5 extra minutes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Zach, for those of you that can't hear, Zach's got a lot of overs, by the way. He's going to have to tone the
you say that I had almost all 4 overs in this division, and I can't do that. I can't do now. Having said that,
but hold on real quick. So for people that are listening to the audio pod after, like I know you do sometimes, Zach's got the Rams at over 11.5. Then he's got Seahawks in second place over 10.5. Got the Niners under 9.5, and then he's got the Cardinals over 3.5. Go ahead.
I had these teams pegged before I saw the win totals you said over. I said Rams 12-5, Seahawks 11-6, Niners 10-7, and so I was exactly half a win over on all 3 of them. And I was like, and I can't. And then I had the Cardinals at 5-12, and I said I can't do that. I got to change one of them, and the one that I'm changing is the Niners because. And my apologies to UBN, but like, this is a roster that has. Like, if they retired right now 4 Hall of Famers, right? Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Fred Warner, and Nick Bosa are probably all Hall of Famers. Okay. Then you've got a few others, George Kittle, who could be, Brock Purdy. He's still young. I mean, we'll see where he goes, but like they've still got a few other players who could be Hall of Fame caliber players. So you look at this roster and you go, well, God, how are they not competing with the Rams and Seahawks atop this division? Well, I just don't. I mean, all those guys are old. They're all in their 30s. I think Christian McCaffrey turned your magic 30 for a running back this summer. So he's, who knows what kind of a drop off he may be in line for. Those guys are all injured every year anyway. It seems like. I don't necessarily buy the substation stuff at their training camp, but they just they have some sort of people complain about the Saints training staff. The 49ers have a real issue. And if you're in this division, where I believe even the Cardinal 3.5 is comically low. I know their quarterback sucks. Yeah, that team's got too much talent besides the quarterback to go 3-14. But when you're in this division,
I'm never going to take an under 3.5. Yeah, I'm either not going to bet or I'm taking it over.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is in this division, it is so difficult. If you have any sort of slippage at all, and they have a few injuries or something, you turn around and you go, oh God, we got Rams and Seahawks coming up next. 49ers had a very easy schedule last year. It's obviously much tougher this time around. So I think they'll if I had to choose an under, that would be the one.
So is that your best bet?
No, I think my best bet is probably Arizona over 3.5. Okay. They've got more talent than that. And I understand Jacoby Brissett is nothing special, but I mean, 4 wins. Come
on. The Niners schedule, are they playing one of these games? It's got to be okay. They play on a neutral side. They don't play on the 49ers have one legit road game before October the 25th. They play on what is that in Brazil? The game against LA, or is it Mexico City or something?
That's in Melbourne.
That's in Australia. Okay, I forgot about that. Okay, so anyway, after that game against the Rams, they start off in Melbourne against the Rams. Then they're home 3 weeks in a row, and I guess they're doing it because they're helping them out because they're going to Australia. But
That's a long flight.
That is a long flight. They do have 2 games that they almost certainly will win after the Rams game, after they lose to the Rams. They'll beat Miami and Arizona at home. Then they play Denver at home. Then they're at Seattle, home for the Commanders, and then at Atlanta. So definitely they can navigate that. And then they come back after the bye week and play Vegas. But they got an interesting schedule after that. It's definitely not super tough, but it does get tougher at Dallas, against the Vikings, against Seattle, at the Giants, home for the Rams, at the Chargers, at the Chiefs, home for the Eagles. I mean, that's a pretty tough stretch. And then at the Cardinals. So it is an interesting schedule. And I don't know. I'll give you my best bet in a minute, but I like unders. I don't think this division is nearly as good. And I hate the fact that everybody's picking Rams. Well, almost everybody. We'll get to somebody who isn't picking Rams, Seahawks, but it's too easy to say Rams, Seahawks, or even Seahawks, Rams. I mean, even if you like the Seahawks again, and I know a lot of people are picking the Seahawks to win the division, but I hate that everybody thinks the Rams are that much better and are going to win the Super Bowl and the easy pick for the Super Bowl. I just don't love it. I like the under for the Rams, Seahawks, and the Niners, and I like the over for the Cardinals. I mean, come on, 3.5. But if you ask me what my best bet is, I'm probably going to take the under 11.5 for the Rams, even though I have them first in this division. I don't know. That's a super high number.
Yeah, I guess I just – what are you seeing as the weakness in the Rams?
I don't necessarily see a weakness. I just don't – to me, when you think about how good teams are and you go – everybody and their grandmas like talking about how great the Rams – and they're asking the same question. But I mean, their pass rush is Aaron Donald coming back. Even if Aaron Donald comes back, yeah. But obviously, they have maybe the beast of all beasts up there. There's no question. But yeah, they have a great pass rush. But I don't know, is there the rest of their defense that great? Is Matthew Stafford going to make it through a whole season? Remember last year this time, we're talking about we didn't even know if he was going to start in the beginning, and he ended up being one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Maybe this year it's the opposite. Nobody's even talking about Matt Stafford. And then at 37 years old, 38 or whatever he is, maybe this is the year that he gets banged up and we're not talking about it. So I just think, look, I put the Rams up there, but I don't love them at number 1. I almost put Seattle up there, but y'all know what I think about Sam Darnold. I couldn't pick their over either. This is the division that I feel the least confident in for sure.
You want to know my prediction?
Pain.
The 49ers go to Melbourne and they beat the Rams. Okay? One thing I read the other day, the 49ers are going down there a week early. The Rams are going like the day before.
Oh, that's stupid then.
I don't understand why they're doing that.
That doesn't make any sense.
But it seems to me that maybe it's 2 days before. It seems to me that the 49ers are going to take that one a little more seriously. I think they go down there.
Well, you should.
And I think that once they beat the Rams, that is the time to pounce on 49ers unders and Rams overs, because I think that the season's kind of diverged the other way.
I hear you.
Because you mentioned how tough their schedule is at the end. If they have injuries, that's when it's going to be the most serious, is at the end of the season. I think if Aaron Donald does come back, it probably takes him a while to get back up to NFL speed and NFL shape. I think that this Rams team is veteran enough to know that they don't have to go all out in September. They're going to save it for November, December, January. Yeah. So to me, I think you wait a couple weeks, and then if you like the Rams, you can pounce then. And if you don't like the 49ers, you could go to Kalshi and bet nose then, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. This is a weird division. Again, this is the division I have the least confidence in of all 8 in my picks, and I'm just going to let you know, because I'm not going to lie. Look, I go back and look, and sometimes I'll let my biases get in on my picks. I probably should take the Seattle over, and I probably should have picked Seattle to be first, because I'm just not as high on the Rams as everybody else. San Francisco, the only reason why I picked the under, and that schedule when I talk about it says if they do beat the Rams, they easily could be 3-0 or 4-0 to start the season. There's no doubt about it. So maybe I'm just being harsh on the Niners, but it just feels like they're going to have. If McCaffrey gets hurt, who the hell's going to run the ball for them? I don't know the answer. I mean, we see all these injuries that they have on defense all the time. Purdy can't stay healthy now. I don't know. I guess that's why I just can't pick their over. But so I don't know. There's so many issues. Brian Robinson, big whoop. I mean, that doesn't move any needles for me. So anyway, Lee, if I had to pick a best bet, this is going to sound weird,
But if I had to take a best bet from here, I would probably say Cardinals over 3.5 because that number is absurdly stupid.
Incidentally, isn't Brian Robinson in Atlanta now? Yeah. Gabe just corrected himself. Yeah, okay. I'm not even sure who their backup is, but
yeah, I don't. I
just think the 49ers, the first 5 weeks of the season are probably going to be a bet on team, and then it's going to change at some point. So I agree with you. And the Cardinals
depth chart running back is Jayden Daniels. By the way, on ESPN, all three of the running backs behind Christian McCaffrey all have either Q or O next, the red Q or red O next to their name.
Substation, baby. It's the substation.
I mean, they're just, if they lose McCaffrey, they are absolutely screwed. A couple comments that I want to get to real quick. Nola Man, welcome. Collins Bean, sounds like the Saints are smoking Jags in the first session of practice. See, there we go.
Are you reading Saints beat reporters or Jaguars beat reporters, though? I wonder if the tune is the same from the other side. They're, the Jags look great and this guy looks great. I'm not saying that's the case. I just don't know. You gotta consider the source.
Sticky Fat saying 49ers can't stay healthy. Welcome. That's the first time I'm seeing that name. Did you change your name or is this your first time here? Sticky Fats, welcome. Charles is saying that the Niners go 9-8. Also, see, Lance, if Puka goes down and misses time, I'm not as worried about Puka because the Rams actually have depth there, in my opinion. But I don't know. We'll see. All right. Anything else before we say goodbye for another week? I'll see you Saturday, I guess. But.
Yeah, are you going to be there Saturday?
I am going to be there Saturday, picking up my credential. I thought about picking up my credential and leaving, but I am going to stay for the game.
I will. I will see you there. And I promise you, I'll have more unders next week.
All right. We'll see how that goes. Zach Ewing, everybody. Thank you, sir. We tip of the cap. I clicked you off a little bit too soon, but I know you got to run. A couple of, I know that you're watching I know that you're going to be watching the game this weekend, but I saw some comments. I think it was Ryan Ashay earlier who said he wouldn't watch a non-Saints preseason game if you paid him to. By the way, yes, Collins, I continue to say this. If you're a tractor guy, then you got to be watching the Dattitude podcast because we are the official podcast of John Deere and Kubota. I'm just saying. That's what I heard anyway. That's just a rumor. I don't know if it's official. It's sort of, kind of, maybe official. Yeah, okay. Granderson a sack, Young 2 sacks. Are we keeping stats from? I'm telling you right now. I talked about this last year. I have not brought this up this year yet. Here's my favorite thing from preseason. Do y'all remember what it was last year? When we take stats from practices and scrimmages. That is my absolute favorite thing on planet Earth. You want to talk about meaningless, ridiculously stupid stats. The fanboys are the best, man. They like dive. They want to have the fanboys. They get like crazy with the stats too. They don't just give you regular stats. I don't know. Anyway, Gabe coming on in just a minute. Cecil Evans wants to know, good morning. Off topic, wanted to give me a chuckle. School starts Monday, and for LSU it is. And Will Wade only has 4 players on his roster. He'll just go. Don't get me started. See, you're trying to get me to say something that I don't want to say that's going to get me in trouble. You're like, Cecil's like, how can I get Jim Derry in trouble this morning? Bring up Will Wade. Not going to do it. I'm not taking the bait. He just signed some Big 12 graduate, someone who graduated in the Big 12. He literally graduated from college last year. I don't even know who it is. I didn't click on the story. I wasn't going to do. Oh yeah, Collins, I forgot about that's Dinah Hart. Dang it, I forgot to show that graphic again. Anyway, you know what I didn't forget? I didn't forget that we told you earlier we'll let you know more about Evangeline Securities and how they can help you figure out what your family-run or privately held business might be worth, whether it's time to sell. How do they do it? Great question. Thank you for asking. After their complimentary valuation of your company, if you decide to proceed, native New Orleans and Nick Braden and the folks at Evangeline, they'll begin an extensive auction process from among established private equity funds from around the whole wide world. The whole got the whole world in his hands. No, that won't get people to go to Evangeline. You know what I mean? They will maximize the return for the founder and his or her family. Evangeline Securities is the top producer on their platform. There are very few companies like them in this area. None, 0.0 with their dedication and success. They're fully licensed. They're ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick Brayton about what's really important. And it's not about how many cigarettes Dot smokes. No, Hart. You know what's really important? The rest of your life. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. One time, eventually I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to start like coughing on the air and have to like hold down the cough button. Boy, y'all didn't like me changing the subject. You talk about John Deere or Kubota, and the numbers just go straight downhill. Best place to take a leak, by the way. If y'all fixed the tractors, radiators too. Okay, well, there you go. John Deere, Kubota tractor radiators. If your tractor radiator springs a leak, the best place to take a leak, I promise you, is Regis Radiator Service. Ask for some dude named UBN. You know? Just saying. We'll wait. Yep. I'm just saying. All right, what else we got to talk about Saints was y'all saying the Saints. And Zach brought up a good point, by the way. Zach's point was that who are we getting this info from? Are the Saints rolling according to the fanboys, or are they rolling according to the Jaguars beat writers, or both? Now, if the Jaguars beat writers are saying we're getting our ass kicked, then maybe the Saints do look good. I don't know. But even then, how much does it matter? You know? Just saying. All right. Going to bring them on now because we got to get rolling. I got to get rolling. I know y'all want to talk more about Saints, and we can continue to talk about Saints as we move along here, but it's Thursday. It's time for Gabe Henderson. He's been patiently waiting, and he wants to start a new segment called what?
Do we want to start that first or do predictions first?
We can we do that first. Let's get into that first.
Okay. I mean, everyone, for someone who talks a lot, everyone, I mean, we have an older audience. Everyone will know the phrase gift of the gab.
Who are you calling old? You calling Lance old?
I'm not calling Lance old.
Lance says he's getting his info from Lance is getting his info from Cat and Underhill. Okay. Well.
Yes. Very neutral reporters.
No comment.
And that's nothing against either of them. They are paid to report on a team.
I'm going to say this about Nick Underhill. That dude knows how to get the most eyes on his stuff. In fact, 100%. I
see his stuff all the time.
I don't know anyone in this vicinity that knows how to get more eyes on his stuff than Nick Underhill. And I mean that as a compliment, 100%. So there you go. All right, go ahead.
So I wanted to start just a little segment called Gabe's Gab. And it's just basically me ranting for a little bit.
All right, rant on.
We briefly
I'm going to do this.
We briefly had a discussion in Slack, and I want to preface this with I do not do this to antagonize you, Jim. I clarified that before the show. But you said it was silly that I said Chase Young is not a top 10 pass rusher, but I don't think he is. And that's not an indictment of him. It's more rather speaking on the quality of pass rushers in the NFL. And I spoke to the Slack about it yesterday. I believe he has the talent and the potential to be a top 10 pass rusher in the league, but his body of work right now is not top 10. And going back to last season, no matter where you measure it, he's not top 10 in any important pass rushing stats. He was joint 15th in sacks, but if you want to look beyond that, PFF overall ranked him as the 20th best edge. Tied for 15th in sacks, 58th in tackles, 79th in assisted tackles, 12th in forced fumbles, 18th in stops, 17th in quarterback hurries, 98th in quarterback hits, 27th in total pressures, 10th in batted passes. Batted passes is the only category that he ranked top 10 in the league in.
That was then, this is now, and last year he missed 5 games of the season.
still, there are guys who I've come prepared with the list, and I've come prepared with more. So,
okay, I'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down if I think they're better than Chase Young, or
right,
you might get
Myles
a this. Oh, for sure. I mean, definitely.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, for sure.
Will Anderson Jr.
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson.
By the way, if you left out the junior, do you think I wouldn't know who Will Anderson is?
Well, no, I just feel it's important to put it in.
I hate when people do that. That's one of my pet peeves. The only person who gets a junior is Ken Griffey. But like literally, I don't think I'd say junior for anyone else. All right, who's after that?
Aiden Hutchinson.
I'll give Aiden Hutchinson a thumbs up. However, Aiden Hutchinson, how old is he? He's got to be getting up
He's
there.
Very young. No.
Is he very young? It sounds like he's been in the league for a while.
He's younger than Chase Young.
Is he? Yeah, he is. He's born in 2000.
Yes.
Actually, he's about to turn 27. How old is Chase Young? Chase Young's 27. Yeah, they're like months apart. They're months apart.
So he's been in the league.
But yes, Chase Young is a couple months older than Hutchinson. Okay, fair enough. Yes, you get a thumbs up on that one.
Danielle Hunter.
Not anymore.
Stop.
No, I don't think he is.
Jim, stop.
I don't think Danielle Hunter's.
He finished top 5 in sacks.
Danielle Hunter's about to be 32 years old.
It doesn't matter how old he is. 8 of his 10 seasons in the league, he's had 10 plus sacks. Chase Young's done it once.
I'll give you this.
It's not a this. Danielle Hunter.
You can do not a this all you want. Okay, move on.
Leaps and bounds.
Move on.
TJ Watt.
JJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
Oh, I thought you said JJ Watt. I'm like,
no,
JJ Watt is better than Tony Romo. TJ Watt, yes. I give you a thumbs up for TJ Watt.
TJ Watt. Nick Bosa.
Now?
Injury issues, but still. I mean,
I would say I would actually,
good.
You know what? Actually, Bosa, I'm going to go.
Okay, that's fine. Brian Burns.
Brian Burns is pretty damn good. You know what? I'm gonna give you a thumb. Brian Burns is very underrated.
Nick Bonito.
You get one of these.
Oh, come on. Nick Bonito in the past 2 seasons alone has 27.5 sacks.
Okay.
That's a lot. That's almost.
Has he ever stripped the ball to Cam Ward's hands and ran it in for a touchdown? No, he hasn't. Move on.
Jared Verse.
Jared Verse is a beast.
Well, there you go. So now we've reached 10.
Okay.
Trey Hendrickson.
No. Definitely. Absolutely. 100% no. That's not even close. No. Trey Hendrickson needs. No, he's
I'm not saying when I say better, I'm talking right now. Lance, do your research on Brian Burns, buddy. Brian Burns is much better. Than
Brian Burns is
much
better. I don't know about much better, but he's better. Okay, move on.
Josh Hines Allen. Yeah.
It's good, but I mean, you
Josh
get one of
Allen's
these. You get one of these. You're hating on
Loyatu Latu.
No.
Yeah. Come on. He outranked Young last season in tackles, assists, hurries, hits, and pressures.
All right, we gotta get rolling. So finish this list.
And then 3 more: Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Byron Young.
No one.
So why? What makes you believe that Chase
Young
is?
Go ahead.
I'm curious because he's only had 10 sacks in one of his.
I don't think you're taking enough. Again, now I'm going to take a small sample size because I'm going off of the Chase Young that we saw like right before the start of, I guess, the second half of the season last year. Is the Chase Young that I thought we would see when he was drafted with the second pick. Okay, so
fair.
I think that Chase Young has a chance to even be better than some of the guys I was giving a thumbs up. I'm considering that going in, and I'm using part of his potential to what he could be when I go into this. But the Chase Young I saw in the last 8 to 10 games of last year is almost as good as anybody in this league, except for Myles Garrett and maybe Parsons. And look, I'm super high. I'm higher on Verse than a lot of people are. I think Jared Verse is going to be the guy that we're all talking about in the near future. So, which is why the Rams are absurd, but that's a whole different story. But so anyway, other than those 3, I think Chase Young,
So I'm not
Will
grading him on potential, but I think that's where he could be. He could be right behind those guys.
I would put Will Anderson in that.
Will
discussion.
Anderson's a beast there. I mean, there's no question. Will Anderson is,
and that's not a bias thing. I mean, Will Anderson.
No. There's no question. Will Anderson is up there.
So I just wanted to get your point, and I completely agree. But when I brought this to the table and I put together this list, I factored in both. That's why I left guys like Nick Bosa off the list, and I almost left TJ Watt off the list as well because they're older. But all of these guys have the body of work over their careers. Chase Young, like you said, 8 to 10 games last season, he looked phenomenal.
I didn't realize TJ Watt.
But that's out of 6 seasons.
Yeah,
and I know he's had his injuries and he's bounced around.
This is something. Put this on your card. Yeah. We'll revisit this one in early October. It's an interesting topic.
My whole point in doing this is you. In this, like I said, isn't meant to antagonize, but you said it was silly that I didn't put him top 10. But all right,
like silly might have been the wrong word.
Yeah, no disrespect to him. I think he's just outside the top 10. Yeah. If you look at other areas, and I'll end with this to show the true disrespect that some people have. Madden ranks him as the 29th best overall edge. He's 36th on Bleacher Report's edge rusher list, and he's not in the top 10 on Sports Illustrated. Meanwhile, ESPN surveyed 70-plus NFL execs, coaches, and scouts, and he wasn't one of the top 19 guys mentioned. I think that's a bit disrespectful.
I think there's a bias
somewhere in
against
that 15
him.
range.
There's a bias against him, and you know what? I think a lot of teams, and I see this a lot, but teams that they saw that the Saints basically got Chase Young for. I mean, you look at what they're spending $13 million a year. They basically got him for a steal. Now, the Saints were betting on his potential, and he may turn out to be not worth it. If he turns out to be a bum again, then it is what it is. But I think he's got something to prove. But you see a lot of times, you see it GMs and execs like hold it against players like, we could have had him for that price. Well, F him. And so I think you see sometimes they probably vote and talk that way. So I don't know. But anyway,
so I mean,
it's going to be an interesting year edge rusher wise. Obviously, that has become it's always been a big deal. Edge rushers has always been a big deal. They used to call edge rushers defensive ends, by the way, not that long ago. And now all of a sudden,
now you have some outside linebackers who are considered edge rushers,
right? But you want to they're trying to grandiose the position is what they're trying to do.
It's a role more than a position for sure, depending on the defensive scheme you run.
I mean, Sean, maybe Micah Parsons may not be the same.
He might not be, but Micah Parsons at half,
but he's still a beast
and one of the best players in the league.
And look, Burns is phenomenal. I mean, I don't think
Burns is incredible.
Not enough
and
gets talked about him.
Another guy I didn't mention who I think could be up there in a few years as well as Abdul Carter. I think Abdul Carter is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
He struggled his rookie year, but.
All right, let's get on to our predictions, and I've already showed you our predictions, and I'll just throw them up there real quick again. Let's see. AFC West. Zach's got Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders, and I've got Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. I think Broncos take a step back, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Chargers end up in the top spot there at all. That'd be my one. If I said I had to flip-flop something.
That shocks me that you say that. I'm very surprised.
You know what I think about Jim Harbaugh, too. So I really think the Chargers.
Not only him, Coach Gucci. I know how you feel about Coach Gucci too.
See, you had to. I was letting that go, and now you really are
bring him up anyway.
Trying to press my buttons.
No, I was going to bring him up anyway.
You're just shitting in my grass this morning. And then in the NFC West, I kind of feel the same way. It wouldn't surprise me at all if you flip-flop those two. I got Rams, Seahawks, Niners, Cardinals, same as Zach has. The only difference is I have a lot more unders. All right, let's get to y'all's picks, and I'm going to start in the AFC West and show UBN's first. I think he's still in the comments, but UBN, he loves the Chargers. He's got the Chargers over, and he's got them winning the AFC West, followed by the Broncos, followed by the Chiefs, followed by the Raiders. He's the only under he's taken is the Chiefs. So while we agree on the Chargers, we don't agree on the Chiefs. He's got the Chiefs with the under 10.5, and he didn't tell me. UBN, if you're out there, tell me.
He is.
He is. Okay, UBN, tell me what would be your best bet out of those four. Just tell me what your best bet is as we show your picks. And Gabe, as usual, you and I are kind of aligned. It seems like every year we kind of have the same kind of thought process. We might be a little bit different on over-unders, but you've got the same order as me, which is bad news for everybody in this division. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders What do you like so much about the Chiefs?
I like the fact that they got rid of Matt Nagy. That's always a positive.
I didn't even think about that. That is definitely a positive. You're right.
Kick Matt Nagy out. I don't like the fact that they got older. I don't like the receiving core. But my God, you are giving Patrick Mahomes a top 10 running back for the first time in his career. This offense is Patrick Mahomes you could bring people off the street to play receiver. I agree, for them, man. And Patrick Mahomes
Kenneth Walker
could still make
that much of a difference.
Yeah, he could still, but Kenneth Walker is going to be so good for them. They've been
I agree
so
wholeheartedly.
inefficient running the ball, and then you've got Eric Bieniemy, who's familiar with a lot of this person.
Agreed.
And not only that, as you guys alluded to earlier, they're not playing a first place schedule. It's still a
I do worry about
schedule,
Rashee Rice a little bit in the circus that surrounds him.
Yeah.
That does sometimes bring a team down.
They played without him last year, and they were still.
It's not just playing without him; it's the circus that surrounds him.
Yeah,
and sometimes that does affect the team. But I just
actually think the circus around Travis Kelce might be a bit more distracting.
That's true. That's also true. Although maybe it'll tamp down a little bit once that now that him and who are married. So and that's hopefully then we'll talk about.
Here's UBN's rationale for the Chiefs.
Chiefs take a step back with Kelce looking like Mahomes, looking like him. Okay, and then Mahomes' knee. You think he gets hurt again? Could be. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a bad take, but it's just, to me, it's too easy to just shit on the Chiefs, right? I mean, that's kind of like the easy.
Yeah,
it's just like everyone. Just like the Rams.
I feel like everyone's going to be betting the under,
right? And just like the Rams winning everybody's got the Rams winning the AFC West or the NFC West. I mean, they got the Chiefs not winning the AFC West. It's just too easy to me, and I like UBN's. I think my favorite pick of this. I said before. I like Broncos under as my favorite. Maybe the Chargers over, because look,
I love the Chargers over. That's my best bet.
And look, I do, just like before I used to shit on Staley. I mean, I don't even like saying the dude's name. I'm just gonna call him Gucci. Maybe he turns out to be a fantastic coordinator. I don't know. He doesn't have to worry about making calls anymore. We'll see, but I do think that will help.
So here's why I like the Chargers so much, and I potentially. Truth be told, I think this is going to be the tightest division in football. And I don't think the Raiders are going to be bad. I have them at under 5.5. I just think the other three teams in this division are so good.
I'm glad you picked under Raiders under 5.5 because we all had over Raiders 5.5. And I just couldn't
have four overs in the division.
Yeah, I think they're too talented to have.
But I think
the Raiders are not. They're not awful.
No, I completely agree with you. The way that I do this, I walked you through it last week. I sit down and I write what I believe their records are going to be. I have the Chiefs at 11-6, the Chargers at 10-7, Broncos at 10-7. And if I had to change that for any reason, I think the Chargers could win this division.
Yeah, I think all of us except maybe Zach think the Chargers can win the division.
Yeah, I don't understand the rationale in picking Chargers under. They get Joe Alt back, who's one of the best tackles in football. They get a great new offensive coordinator. Say what you will about him as a head coach. Great offensive mind. You're getting, in addition to Gadsden at tight end, you're getting David Njoku, who I think will really thrive. You've got three running backs who McDonald absolutely loves. And I think there's just, I don't see a regression there. They won 11 games last season with all those injuries. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a really good football team.
Salute, Preacher Man. Preacher Man is here. Welcome. And, I get it. Lance loves him some Sean. He didn't say Sean Payton, but Lance loves him some Sean Payton.
I don't think the Broncos offense is going to be very improved. I think their running game is horrendous. They are. J.K. Dobbins is already hurt.
Is he really?
Yes.
Again?
R.J. Harvey's in the Sean Payton doghouse. They're not going to be able to run the ball very well.
Their defense, maybe they play a lot of 17-13 games. I don't know. I just don't think they're as good as the other two teams. I just don't. I'm not necessarily trying to poo-poo on the Broncos, but I think the Broncos have, you want to talk about schedules, and I did look at this.
They have a tough schedule. I still have winning 10 games. I think they're a decent team.
No, I hear you. I think they have a losing record. Mark my words. Here's how their season starts. At Kansas City, against the Jags, give them the Jags. Give them that win. Then they play the Rams
at the 49ers, at the Chargers versus Seattle. So those first 6 games, I mean, you're talking about a team, they could be 2-4. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, that is a potential 2-4 start. Then they play Arizona, but then they play Kansas City again, Carolina, whoop-de-doo, Raiders, whoop-de-doo, Steelers, Dolphins, whoop-de-doo, Jets. So they have a chance to make some up. But they finish Buffalo, New England, Chargers. I mean, that is a tough finish. I'm telling you, I see 8 wins in their future.
Yeah, I think they peaked last year.
Yeah, he does love some Petty Sean. Why don't we throw the poll question back up there and don't close it right away. Sure. Give some people one last chance to vote. Here's your last chance to vote in today's poll, and it is who will have the best season in 2026 if you haven't voted already, or if you're watching after the fact, please feel free to give your opinion in the comments. Type in the number 1 if you think the answer is the Denver Broncos. Type in the number 2 if you think the answer is the Kansas City Chiefs. Type in the number 3 if, like just almost everybody else and their grandma, you think it's the Los Angeles Rams. And type in the number 4 if you think it's the world champion Seattle Seahawks. If you weren't here earlier, I voted. I am the only one that has voted for the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, and I know you, Gabe, if you had a vote, which one would you take on this 4?
I was really hoping you weren't going to ask me that question. I'm torn between 2 and 3. I'll explain why I would lean the Rams in a minute. But I do. I'm
John's with everybody
like
and his grandma. He's taking the Rams. Too easy. It's too easy. Anything that's too easy, it's like, common sense tells you. How long have we been doing this together? Too easy almost never is the answer. Almost.
Yeah, but I'll tell you when we get to my predictions, I'll walk you through my rationale for the Rams.
Sure, this time last year, you can't pick against the Chiefs, except for the Peyton lovers were picking the Broncos, and they ended up getting right. Well, whoop-de-doo, good for you.
The Bills last year. People were ridiculing us for that.
Well, they'd ridiculed some of the things they ridiculed before they were right about. They were ridiculed me about being on the Packers, and that turned out to be wrong. So, I like to tell them where I'm wrong and I'm right. All right, let's close the poll and give the final results, especially for those listening to the podcast that can't see the results on their screen. The final results are in from our poll question. Very scientific, by the way. Who will have the best season in 2026 of these 4 teams? 68, a whopping 68% of the grandmas out there picked the Los Angeles Rams. 16% picked the Denver Broncos. 11% picked the world champion Seattle Seahawks. And this lone wolf, picked the Kansas City Chiefs.
I actually think the Seahawks would probably be the team that I'd be least likely to pick here.
The Seahawks would be the least likely?
Least likely for me to pick, yeah.
Least likely would be the Broncos for me. I'm not just hating. I promise I'm not just hating. I see major regression. I'm glad I can. Do I amuse you? Yeah, if you know the movie, you get an extra. Put it in the comments. If you don't know the movie, you need to go see it. Do I amuse you? All right. Anyway, Lance, we will see. And I tell you what. How about we make this bet? If the Broncos don't win the AFC West, you got to wear a Derek Carr jersey, and I'll bring you on the air. Charles has got to go. All right.
Make sure you clarify it's a Derek Carr Saints jersey.
It's got
wear a
funny like I'm a clown. Ha ha. You know what I'm talking about. So am I funny to you? All right. We have definitely outrun our welcome here. What else you got
NFC
for me
West.
before we didn't do it yet? I thought we did it.
No, we didn't do the NFC West.
Oh, crap. Well, UBN picks the Rams. And he told me the other day he was poo-pooing on his Niners. He lied. He took the Niners second. Oh, wait till you watch where I pick the Niners. Pick them last. They stink. Whatever. The only over he's got is the Niners. Wow. Rams, Niners, Seahawks, and then he's got the under 3.5 on the Cardinals. As do you. Y'all
we're sicko. Jim, okay. Let me preface it.
It takes a sicko to bet on a preseason game, and it takes a sicko to take an under 3.5.
Jim, you're talking to a guy who bet under 1.5 wins for Toledo last year. Or not Toledo. Who was it? Shit, I forgot.
I don't know. But Sav, how could you hate that move? What is wrong with you? I don't hate. Goodfellas. Come on, man. All right, go ahead.
Hold on. Who was the team that I bet? I bet under 1.5.
There's no under 1.5. You bet
there wasn't. No, it was college. It was college.
College. Okay. I didn't know there was
under 1.5 on a college team last year, and I don't remember. I'm blanking on who it was.
I don't know, but the best bet I've ever had.
Oh, it was Kent State. It was Kent State. I knew it was an Ohio team. Yeah, I bet under 1.5 on Kent State.
It's too early to talk action.
I'm a sicko.
You are
I'm
a sicko. All right, sicko. Let's talk about here. For those who can't hear, who can't see the podcast, can't see the graphic, Gabe's got Rams over 11.5, and he's got everybody else under. He's just like UBN. He's got 1 over and 3 unders because the negative no. They're the Derry Downers of the world. They're the Derry Downers. Yeah, I think in the AFC I did.
You said this division.
Rams, Seattle, Niners, Cardinals. That's his order. Talk about your rationale.
First off, Arizona, if I see a 3.5, I'm going to bet the under because I'm a sicko. I think this roster is going to be bad, but I think their schedule is really tough. They've got a rookie head coach. They've got a quarterback situation that is completely undesirable, although Jacoby Brissett was decent last year when he played. They're not an organization that's going to try and win games. And if I can quote one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Succession, the Arizona Cardinals are not serious people. They're one of the worst franchises in football. I don't think their goal is to win games. I think they're going to go under 3.5.
At the Chargers versus the Seahawks, at San Francisco, at the Giants, 3 of their first 4 on the road. Good Lord. They just did not do them right.
That schedule is I implore you to try and find more than like 3 wins on that
versus
schedule.
The Lions, at the Rams. You know what? I usually look at schedules when I pick my over-unders. I don't even look at the Cardinals. I'm like, I'm not picking. I'm not running to the window, but I'm not picking an under 3.5. Sorry.
No, which is completely fair.
Week 6 their bye week is until week 14. Their bye week is December the 13th for a team where it's warm. That's just wrong. You give a team that's warm. I mean, that's for you give a bye week to a team like that, like the Packers, maybe in week 14. Anyway, they really kind of screwed the Cardinals here. At the Rams in week 6 versus Denver, at Dallas, at Seattle. Then versus the Rams, at Kansas City, versus Washington, versus Philly, bye week. Then 4 more games versus the Jets, at the Saints. Then 2 in a row at home. They finish up against the Raiders in San Francisco. I mean,
that
maybe you're right, but
I ain't.
That's pretty brutal.
It's so tough. So, and then quickly on the others, on the 49ers, I think their injuries are really going to hit them hard this season. I think support for Shanahan is kind of dwindling in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And this might
you just dropped there. Your chair just took a
yeah, hold on.
For those who didn't see it, Gabe just took a drop there.
my knee caught the little thing.
No, common sense is telling you your picks are sucked.
Maybe. I think the support for Shanahan is dwindling in San Francisco. I'm like Kyler Murray. Seattle, I think Seattle is really going to take a step back. I think the world of their coach,
John, baby.
I think the world of their defense. People are not talking enough about how easy Sam Darnold had it with Kenneth Walker as his running back in the running game that they had in JSN there. I think they're going to miss him a lot.
Yeah.
And the Rams, I couldn't go under on 4 teams. So,
yeah, well, we'll see. We're gonna like their running game.
I think the Rams are good.
What about the Seahawks running game? Lance likes it.
We haven't seen Jadarian play a single snap, and Charbonnet's chronically injured. So
that is true,
and he's really inefficient as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe they're a lot better than expected,
but I don't know.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
I think this is going to be really
wanted to pick
as
much as I don't like the Seahawks just in general. I don't like the Seahawks. Not meaning I don't like them for the season. I mean, I just don't like the Seahawks. They're one of those teams I don't like. I can't explain it. I just don't like them. So
I think they're going to be. So I think similar to, Zach alluded to it when he made his picks. Handicappers do what they do for a reason. I think all of these, if you look at it, I think the Niners win 9 games. I think the Seahawks win 10. I think the Rams win 12. It's so tough. I think they're going to be.
You're not running to the window to bet any of these, except the Cardinals.
No, except the Cardinals. I would run to the window to bet the Cardinals.
Is that your best
I'm a
bet?
sicko. No, I believe it was actually. Hold on.
I think it was too.
I think it was. Let me open.
I think it was your best bet.
It was, yeah. Open my text with you. That was my best bet. Just because I don't feel great about any of the other 3.
Yeah.
I don't like you alluded to. I don't like the hype around the Rams. I think it's a little much, but I just couldn't go 4 unders. So I'd have.
I think that this year, I can't believe I just threw because every time my kids say I always go I hate There's so many people so I can't believe I just said that. But I think that that division as a whole, I think this is going to be one of the most one of the most balanced kind of seasons. I think it's going to be another. Nobody expected Seattle. Nobody really expected New England to be in the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be one of those years where it's a surprise year. Maybe you don't get 2 surprise teams in there. Maybe you only get 1. But I think it's going to be fun. I think you'll get two of the 4 teams in the championship game. I think those teams to be in there.
I think these 2 divisions are interesting to talk about because they've got 3 teams that are kind of be competing there at the top, and then you've got that one team that's just trailing behind.
Yeah.
But unlike the Cardinals, I think the Raiders are on the come up.
All right. Monday is Mono Monday. It'll be also look for those of you expecting a Derry's dime on Monday from a preseason game, unless something major happens for a reason for me to show a dime. Like I kind of did a semi dime with Breeze. I probably should have actually done one. I wish I would have, but yeah, you're not going to get a dime. But we will review what happened in the preseason game, and who knows. So, but anyway, I will see you on Monday. Who the Texans play?
They play tonight.
They play tonight.
Yeah.
So to show you how excited
shows you how much I care. They play the Chargers. Shows you how much I care about preseason.
The Saints play the Chargers next week. I think
maybe.
I don't know. Saints I don't even know. Saints preseason schedule. They play the Rams
they play the
next
Niners
week.
And the Rams in their preseason.
Okay, the new is in LA. It wasn't the Chargers. It's they played the Chargers last year. They played Rams next week, and then they play the Cowboys in the final in the preseason finale. All right, I will see you Monday for Mono Monday.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Y'all think that he really wasn't trying to press my buttons with Gabe's gab? He's full of shit. I think he was trying to press my buttons. He still can see me. It's not like I'm not talking behind his back. Philip says, have we been getting it since 9 or did the live show time change? I'm not exactly sure how you mean, but we changed the time of the show a month and a half ago. We went from 11 to 9. We took out, we had to cut one of the show. I mean, look, it's not something I wanted to do. We were Monday, Wednesday, Friday live at 11. And we're now Monday, Thursday live at 9. And for those of you who don't know, I've got another real gig. I was hired back by the Times-Picayune. I cover news in St. Tammany Parish. We actually had a very busy news week in St. Tammany this week. So, yeah, I don't love the fact that I had to move it to 9, but it was a concession that I made to keep. It was either move this show to 9 or stop doing it, or do it at night, or do it on weekends only. And so I chose the best option I thought for everyone, and that was to move the show to 9 because, look, I know that some people, they can't participate at 9. They can participate at 11. I get it. I wish in a perfect world, I'd go back to 11 and I'd go back to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And one day when I'm not working anymore, maybe we will. Because I am determined to get this show to at least 1,000 shows, damn it. We'll see. We'll see how that happens. But anyway, so the long-winded answer to your question is, and it's going okay. It's not going great. I'm you know me. I'm a
open book. The numbers haven't been as good on the shows. They've been just as good on the shorts. The shorts that we've done still get great reviews, and I love doing them, and we'll keep doing them. Yeah, so there you go, Lance. Hit that like. But more people watch after the fact than they watch before. In the grand scheme of things, it is what it is, you know? But for those of you interested, I still do. I'm covering news in St. Tammany. You can check out all my stuff at NOLA.com if you're interested in that sort of thing. And when I say news, I mean news. Yesterday, I went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting. 2 nights ago, I had a pretty controversial Slidell City Council meeting. And you may think that people aren't interested, but there are lots of people interested. It has been crazy. Actually, I got a bunch of emails while we're on here. Tonight, I will be on the Final Bet show with Garland Gillen. I'm going across the lake to tape that in a little bit, so make sure you check me out with Garland. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about predictions and over-unders. He has not given me a topic list, but I'm sure that's on the agenda. Tomorrow, I've been asked to – this is how desperate Archers from Shaw High School is. They've asked me to be a celebrity waiter. So I'm going to do that. Any Shaw games? Yep, I'm still doing play-by-play for all the Shaw home games, all 7 of them, and whatever playoff games they do. So I'm still doing my play-by-play with Jim on Friday nights and Todd Whittington if he's out there listening. So yeah, some things change, some things don't, but we're still glad to be around. Randall, you're a little late, buddy, but good morning. And I'm about to say goodbye as we go here. I want to thank everybody out there, all the participation that we had. Man, I tell you, that I know I'm tooting our own horn here, but one thing that is different about our show than any other show, and look, if somebody sees a show that's like this, Matt Moscona is the only one that's close, really, to inviting as much interaction with people that are typing in comments. Matt Moscona is the only one that's close, in my opinion. If you got another one, show it to me. I'd love to go see their show and see how they do things. But it was important for me to keep the interaction, and that's what we do better, I think, than everyone here. And I thank so much to the regulars. Thanks so much to the members. But if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube page. We'd also ask for those watching on Facebook, switch on over if you can, if you get a chance to. We're trying to get our numbers up on YouTube. I appreciate all the love, and tell your friends about us. You got a loved one, a family member who's a Saints fan, LSU fan. We're going to start talking about LSU probably next week. So get them to come. We talked a little bit about LSU to start the show. I don't know what to do. You see this little thing going? It's bothering me. That's the other side. It's over here. What is that? You seeing through my white shirt here? It's like somebody cut my neck. Anyway, it's definitely time to wrap it up when we're talking about that. John, thank you so much. Collins, thank you for another great show. It is indeed. We're going to talk about on Monday, of course, we'll review Saints-Jags preseason game. It'll be just you. It'll be me. It'll be Gabe. And by the way, you can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and many more. For the first time, I get to say, not only do I get to say everyone have a fantastic, wonderful, glorious weekend, I get to say enjoy the game. That's right, everybody. I said enjoy the game. I will let you know how it goes from the Dome when I see you on Monday. And until then, take it easy, my friends.